Welcome. Here we are at Interbike 2010 WTB booth, introducing our latest and greatest wheel sets, the Strikers. These are full WTB WT69 aluminum alloy rims that are super stiff, super strong, super light, paired with traditional J-bend spokes and our WTB Laserdisc light hubs. All told, end up under 1,500 grams for a wheel set. Pretty cool, XC. These are, today we're gonna be going through the whole setup of a tubeless wheel set. With me, I'm Chris, product manager here at WTB. These wheel sets, they already come with the tape and the valve installed, as you can see on any of our display models. This is how you would purchase it at your local store. But just in case, we're going to go through the process here. It's pretty simple. Standard rim tape. Might look a little familiar. We buy it from the same guys that everybody else buys it from. But basically, go opposite our valve hole, have our properly sized rim tape. This is a 19 millimeter wide rim, so I'm using 22 millimeter tape. Starting opposite the valve hole on the seam. This is a welded rim, so there actually isn't much of a seam. And I'm just stretching it, covering the inside of the rim, trying to keep it even on both sides. Covering the rim well, making sure it's properly adhered and conforms to that unique TCS shape that we have there. It drops down in the center so you can actually mount the tire, but it has two bead shelves on either side with a little lump that hooks the bead right into the seat, providing a really, really positive bead rim connection. I know a couple guys who have actually flatted, didn't have a tube, ended up riding the tire all the way home, about 5 miles on pavement, figured he destroyed the rims. They got home, the tire was still in the bead. Just overlapping where I started by an inch or two, just to make sure I have really good adhesion all the way around. Double check it, go all the way around, make sure there aren't any bubbles in the tape. So just gotta kind of locate my valve hole. Nice on the Strikers, if you go to a Y, one or the other is either the seam or the valve hole. You can kind of see it in here. There's 3 holes right next to another one. And I just want to go to the middle one. I'm just using a standard little Leatherman knife here. Cut a nice hole around the edge. Try to keep it from getting too messy so we have nice valve rim interface, so we don't have to worry about any air leaking. But with sealant and with our WTB valve, that's really not a huge worry. These valves have a removable core, so if you want to use a sealant injector, you can just do so, pull the core out, inject the sealant in, not have to deal with the muss and fuss. Or we can do it how I'm doing it, old school, and just put the sealant in as I go along and put it in there. So I'm just giving a little pressure with my thumb to compress the rubber through the valve hole, tightening it down nice and tight so it's nice and secure, no wobble. That means it's airtight. So that's a setup wheel as it would come from the dealer. Striker XC rim set, wheel set I should say. Now we're going to install a tire. This is our Mutano 2.2, the TCS tubeless compatible system bead on it that mates perfectly to these rims. Both of these products are WTB products. This is pretty unique in the marketplace right now. We're the only people that are actually building a rim and a tire so that they mate perfectly together. So you get the best seal and the best fit between that tire and bead interface. We have ultimate control.
Get it! Get it!
So, like installing any tire, start with one bead before the other. This is, as we said, a tubeless bead, so it's the same type of bead that you would get on a UST tire or any tire that is certified UST. So the bead of the tire itself is actually, it's very closely controlled, it's very precise in circumference, and it's generally a little bit smaller than what you get with other standard bead tires. Now comes the hopefully not messy part. Adding sealant. This is standard sealant that you can get just about any bike shop. I want to shake it up. Add it to the tire. I want to do a couple ounces. And then for everyone out there who hasn't set up tubeless tires, this is the trick. Don't try to put the bead on with the sealant sitting right there. Rotate the tire 180 degrees. The sealant is now trapped inside the tire with the rim seated on both beads. That way you can just work the bead all the way on and it's set up. The sealant is now trapped inside the tire, not on your floor. This little bit right now, I'm working the bead of the tire all the way around the rim to get it up onto that bead shelf to help provide us with a solid seal so that hopefully I should just be able to put a floor pump on this. We won't have to use a compressor. It'll just hook up. So, ready to go here. Attaching my pump. And yes, pumping right up. Floor pump, no compressor, tubeless setup. Because these beads can be a little bit tight, it wasn't too bad because I was able to just put it on with my fingers. I didn't have to use a tire lever or anything. But you want to make sure you pump up the tire, get it to a high enough pressure so the bead is seated. You can see there's a little bit of a lump there. I'll probably want to pump this up higher until the bead seats all the way around. Sometimes it takes up to 50 or 60 pounds. But usually you hear it go snap. And then after it's all seated, you can let out to your desired pressure. Did you hear that? It just went snap. Now it's nice and even. This probably has about 40 pounds in it. I like a little less personally. So I can just let it down. Get to that nice pressure where you're gonna get those good traction, good handling. And that Striker, WTB wheel set, tubeless TCS tires, the whole system.
Hey, this is Chris, Marketing Manager at WTB. Today we're going to talk about two new saddles for 2011. Some really big breakthroughs for us. This year we're introducing a carbon railed saddle, which is just the lightest saddle we've ever made. This thing weighs in at 158 grams. It's just freaking awesome. It's got our channel here to alleviate pressure in the peroneal nerve area. It's got a carbon shell as well, not polycarbonate, but actual carbon fiber shell, so it's stiffer. So it's going to prevent any kind of sagging in any part of the saddle because it's really, really firm, and it's super light. Another feature to this saddle is this is a synthetic but very leather-like cover, and it's 8 grams lighter than leather, says Mr. Moschler a minute ago. So we shaved 8 grams just on the material itself, which is awesome. So again, 158 gram, super light saddle, carbon. It's an actual carbon weave base and a carbon fiber rail as well. So we're really amped on that. It's new, available in black. We've also got the Silverado, which is also using the carbon shell and the carbon fiber rail technology, and it's got like an abrasion resistant cornering here, so if you dump the bike, hopefully you're not going to shred your whole saddle. We've also gone to a really cool new embossed branding logo here that's not stitched or going to get messed up at all. This one again weighs in at about 158 grams as well. Again, a carbon shell, the comfort zone, and all the contact points here to alleviate pressure on your sit bones. So this is kind of the lightest, again, these two are the lightest saddles we've ever made, so we're really stoked on these new carbon railed saddles, so you should try them out. Cheers.